There's actually a couple of things that I wanted to say. Is anybody interested in like the new music nowadays?
Mm-hmm.
New music is it's kind of strange. I was in the yeah, I'm right where I thought I would be. I was in the restaurant the other day, and a waiter dropped a tray of dishes, and 6 people got up to dance, and I'm just like, wow, how did that happen? Another thing, I was looking at music today. I mean, it's kind of strange, but I was also looking at the new things that happened with phones nowadays. And it doesn't matter because I'm lying. And actually, what I really wanted to do was do a 7.5-minute bit on Thipwick, the Big-Hearted Moose. Now, does anybody know Dr. Seuss? Anybody? All right. That's what I'm looking to hear. Thipwick, the Big-Hearted Moose is done by Dr. Seuss, and this is one of the stories that was done back in the day. Everyone knows 1 fish, 2 fish, green fish, blue fish, or red fish, blue fish. They all know Cat in the Hat. This is not one of those, so be prepared. Here we go. Up at Lake Winnebago, the far northern shore, lived a Herschel nurse, about 60 or more. And they all lurked around in a big happy bunch, looking for nice tender moose moss to munch. Up at Lake Winnebago one day, while they were lunching, just strolling along and enjoying their munching. For the moose moss that day was especially fine, when it happened that Thipwick was the last moose in line. Saw Binglebug singing. The Binglebug called out, "Hey, it's such a long road and it's such a hot day. Would you mind if I rode on your horns for a way?" "Of course not," smiled Thipwick, the big-headed moose. "I'm happy my antlers can be some use. There's room there to spare, and I'm happy to share. Be my guest, and I hope that you're comfortable there." So the Binglebug picked out a nice easy seat, and the moose went out looking for moose moss to eat. Well, an hour or so later, the bug heard a squeak of a small voice of a little tree spider speak.
"Say,"
said the spider,
"you've got a fine place. The moose seems quite friendly, has such a nice face. If I got on too, do you think he would mind?"
"Have a barn!"
laughed the bug.
"And I think that you'll find that the moose won't object. He's a big-hearted kind."
"Will I accept?"
said the spider with joy and delight, and he started a web on the horn on the right. Now, while the spider was spinning, he heard a gay song of a fresh little sing-a-zoo bird came along. He stopped and he stared and he chirped,
"Wow, wow, wow! What a great place to build! What a great place to build! I've been whittling on trees ever since I was born, but here's something new when I would live on a horn. If there's room there for 2, do you think there's room there for 3?
"Have a barn!"
laughed the bug.
"And it's free!" Thipwick stopped walking. What was all that talking? Thipwick's guest had caught Thipwick's the moose unawares. "Hey!" he called out.
"What goes on there upstairs?" "Just building a nest, sir,"
the sing-a-zoo said, and began taking hairs out of poor Thipwick's head. He plucked out exactly 204.
"Don't worry,"
he laughed.
"you can always grow more."
So he dozed off to sleep in his fine moose hair nest.
"This bird," murmured Thipwick, "is sort of a pest. But I'm a good sport, so I'll just let him rest, for a host above all be nice to your guests."
"Well, what would you do if it happened to you?" "You couldn't say scram, because that wouldn't be right. You couldn't say scat, because that wouldn't be right. A host has to put up with all kinds of pests. For a host most above all, be nice to your guests. Besides, it's getting quite late in the day, and surely tomorrow they'll all go away. But at last, the next morning, the sun's early light brought to Thipwick's sad eyes a most unwelcome sight. "Name what?" said the bird. "I was buried last night. And perhaps in the way I should mention to you that a uncle is coming to live with us too. You'd be a very fine host, so I knew you'd be willing." So the uncle, a woodpecker, started in drilling. All Thipwick's friends shouted, "Get rid of those pests!" "I would if I could," sobbed poor Thipwick. "They're guests." "Guests indeed," his friends answered, and all of them frowned. "If those are your guests, we don't want you around. You can't stay with us because you're just not our sort." And they all turned their backs and walked off with a snort. So the big friendless moose walked alone and forlorn, with 4 great woodpecker holes in his horn. Look at those holes," whispered Herman, a squirrel who spied him. "What holes in our nuts, and mind if I try them?" "They're yours," cried the woodpecker. "Get right inside them. This moose runs a public hotel. Bring your nuts, bring your wife, bring your children as well." So the whole squirrel family jumped on a pell-mell. Now while the big friendless moose walked alone and forlorn with 4 great woodpecker's holes in his horn. We're willing to do this, even though I forgot the words. He stepped in the water, then, oh, what a fuss. "Stop!" screamed the guest. "You can't do this to us! These horns are a home, and you've got no right to take ourselves to the farthest inside of the lake." "Be fair," Thipwick begged with a lump in his throat. "We're fair," declared the bug. "We'll decide this by vote. All those in favor of going say A. All those in favor of staying say nay." "A," shouted Thipwick. But when he was done, "Nay, nay!" they all shouted. "He lost 11-1. We win!" screamed his guest by a very large score. And poor starving Thipwick climbed back onto shore. And do you know what those pests did? Do you know what those pests did? Do you know what those pests did? Do you know what those pests did?
Definitely not.
They asked it some more. They asked it a fox who jumped in the trees. They asked it some bison. They asked it some fleas. And they asked it a big brown bear. And then, if you please, came a swarm of 362 bees. Now, Thipwick had taken a groan to his knees, but then came something that made his heart freeze. Bullets being bouncing right past his face. Bullets being bouncing all over that place. Get that moose, they could heard a voice call. Fire again, shoot straight one and all. We need his head for the Harvard Club wall. Because all of those pests he had run out of luck. From that 752-pound bear, he was stuck. He almost fell overboard. He fell faint. The whole world grew fuzzy. He was finished completely. Or was he? Finished. Not Thipwick, decidedly not. It's true that he was in the most terrible spot. But there is one thing that he had forgotten. A little something that happens each year to the horns of all moose and the horns of all deer. Yes, today was the day that we happened to know that his old horns come off so that his new ones can grow. And he called to his pests as he threw them. You wanted my horns? Now you're quite welcome to them. Keep them, they're yours. As for me, I shall take myself to the far distant side of the lake. So he swam away, and he found his old lunch. Just in time for a wonderful lunch up south of Winnebago where there's a moose monster munch. His old horns today are where you knew they would be. His guests are still on them, as stuffed as they should be.